Okay, for the sake of argument, I'm going to take this up there and get you in there closer. That's what our hole looks like, see? It doesn't matter if there's a gap on either side of this, but see, I got enough room for that off to the side there, see? So when I put my anchor, my plastic goodie in there, it's not going to hit the edge of that. That's what I wanted. And then the mounting screws will be 2 of these. And I might do the top left one and the bottom right one, kind of kitty corner. I don't want to put 4 screws up in there because they're too close. They just made them like that in case however you got this, you can install it, right? So 2 is plenty. I can do the top left one and the bottom right and the top left one. And I'll take a felt tip pin, hold that up there and mark it, pre-drill 2 holes. That's after my wire comes in, see? See that other wire I was talking about? It's right there. See, I could have slightly nicked it with the Sawzall on either side or with one of those multi-tools. You don't want to do that. I know lots of people, hey, just get one of those and you can zip that right off. The time that it took you to cut that, I could have had that off in 30 seconds, yeah. And you could have nicked that wire too. Or anything else that was up in the ceiling for that matter. You might have had a copper hot or cold water line going across there for some unknown reason. Or a telephone line, or a computer wire, or a vent for a drain, or you know, all kinds of stuff. So that's why I just take my time, probe around a little bit. I could have, before I pushed anything up there, I could have taken a stiff little piece of wire, pushed it up in there, knowing, oh, okay, there's something up there, I better be careful, I'm not quite sure what it is. And the beauty of the pancake box is, you can see what the beauty is, right? Because I can mount it, I just mount it on the bottom of that. I don't have to put it up next to it, have a whole thick box up there, or anything like that. If I wanted to do it on a different slide box that slid in between a bracket where you have to nail that on both sides of a truss, then I wouldn't be able to put the hole exactly right there, right? I would have had to put the hole over to the left, at least 3 inches to the left or 3 inches to the right, so I didn't hit the existing roof truss. You see what I mean? Okay, and you see, half my drywall stuff, you might think, there's not going to be much stuff down here, but look at all the stuff that fell down on the floor. So see, before I do anything, well, before I work down here again, I'll get the vacuum out and get that all cleaned up and all that stuff. I'll pick up all the big stuff first before you run the vacuum. Don't just run your vacuum on here like that. You'll mess it up. Okay? You see how the joist is going from left to right. Okay? That one was going the same way, left and right, left to right, boom, boom. So now I'm going to have to get up in the attic. And lucky for me, I don't have to bring my construction light up there. Pity, poor Joe. I didn't have an extra bulb, so I'm going to have to go to the store. Next time I'm at the store, I'll have to get some bulbs. You can buy them in a 1-pack, 2-pack, or 3-packs. I'll probably get at least a 2-pack. And they have these 250 watts, 300 watts, 500 watts. So you kind of have to decide which one. I think that's a 300 watt. I'll have to look on the side and see. And everything. Okay, so see, now I got a flashlight that came with the set. When I bought this one, it came with this was from Ryobi. I'm not saying you have to buy a Ryobi, but it came with that. It came with a little Sawzall. It came with a little cute little skill saw, and it came with 2 batteries, the battery charger, and a flashlight. I'm going to use a flashlight with the battery. I'll get up in here, and I'm going to have to do some stuff. I'm not going to get you up there and show you all that, but I'm going to have to take my roll of wire and my staples and my hammer. That's pretty much it. Oh, and my cutters, my electrical cutters. And then I just have to know I've got to push this down at least 10 inches. And then when I get it over here, I have to go boom, across, and then I'll drape it out on the left-hand side of this joist. And I'll let at least 10 inches or more sticking out. Because you'll remember, the wire's coming through here, but my ground wire is over here, okay? So first off, when the wires come through, and when I strip them back, I've got to push my ground over here. Then I usually wrap it around at least one good twizzle before I tighten down the screw. And then I want the ground wire out. So the ground wire will be coming out 6 inches at that point. So from here, I've got to go over that way too. So I'm gonna extend the wire out 10 inches, 12 inches or so, maybe even 1.5 feet, whatever. And then don't cut any of the wires until you get your ground wire in there, in case you want your ground wires the same length as everything else. You see what I mean? Okay, so that's my next step, getting up in the attic. Okay, and like I say, lucky for me, the crawl hole is only right here, so I don't have to go very far. Now, if your crawl hole, wherever your crawl hole is, you might think, oh yeah, I know where to go. You get up into your attic, maybe the crawl hole's way down here somewhere, or in a bedroom closet somewhere, halfway on the other side of the house or something, and you're thinking, oh yeah, I know where to go. Well, 8 out of 10 times when you get up in the attic, you're going to get turned around and say, okay, where exactly is that? Where am I supposed to go? How far is it? Especially if you just poked a nail up, let's say, and you want to go up there and feel for it and make sure you know exactly where you're going and all that kind of stuff. In my case, I didn't have to do that, did I? Okay, but if you're doing something like that, you might want to measure off this wall, know that this is where the garage wall is, and seeing where your hallways are, so that wherever your crawl hole is, you're going to say, okay, I'm going out of the crawl hole. I'm going to come down about 50 feet straight before I turn left, and I'm going to go down this way another 25 feet and try to find this wall so I can measure off of here to make sure I know exactly where I'm at. So you know where you're at, as opposed to thinking you're somewhere else. In my case, it's going to be easy. Plus, I've got the hole to go for, right? I'll see some light coming through here. Now, granted, there's insulation up there too, so I'm going to have to feel around for that. You might not be able to see the hole. You might have to kind of feel around for the insulation. I may have to move some insulation around. I can't remember. Oh yeah, and I think it's blowing. This is blowing insulation over here too. So when they blew it, this is only 3.5 inches tall. The 2x4s that are attached to the trusses. So when I get up there, the blowing insulation is going to be probably 8 or 9 inches thick. And so when I get from here, I'm going to have to kind of make a trail, feel around for the joists and that kind of stuff. When I get over here, I'm going to have to kind of push around through the insulation. I still want to make it as per code, like I'm saying. Could I go from here over to there and be done with it? Yeah, I could. Is an inspector ever going to see it? No, an inspector's never going to see it. Could you live with that? Yeah, you could probably live with that. But it's really not the right way to do it, okay? So I'm going to do it the right way. Why? Because I have the staples, I have plenty of wire, and because I can. Can you believe that? I got 1 minute left on my SIM card of this whole thing. I thought I'd had plenty of time, but hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Remember that.